Hello, as you can see, I filmed this video while out walking in nature because I really wanted to bring you along and share some of that good mood with you. Um, since I was moving and I'm moving and recording the video and I don't have any fancy equipment, sorry for any vibration you can see for the video, but I thought maybe that could be a good opportunity to have the summary and analysis of the Schopenhauer Cure. Before we get started, just a quick note that as clear, English is not my first language. Persian is clearly. So you'll probably hear a bit or more than a bit of an accent. I do my best to speak clearly and to keep mistakes to a minimum. But if something sounds a little different and awkward, sorry in advance, and thank you for your patience. Okay, let's start with this question and we'll go to the summary and analysis of the book. I prefer to start with this question that what if the most important question in therapy is not how can I change, but how can I live when time feels short? This is the starting point of the Schopenhauer Cure. It's a book that mixes therapy. You'd probably like to have the view as well. It's a book that mixes therapy with philosophy and human stories in a way that feels alive and personal. It is serious but also personal at the same time, and also warm. And it avoids having the feeling of sitting in a classroom and listening to a lecture. To me, honestly, this novel is the one for bringing the ideas, the scientific ideas, into a story that easily could be grasped, that you can catch it easily. That's the critical point when world-renowned psychiatrist, or let's say psychologist, starts writing a novel. That's really critical. And the story gets started, and the amazing part is that when a renowned therapist, whose name is Julius or Julius, I don't know what is the accurate pronunciation, whatever you want to call it, let's go with Julius. He receives a medical diagnosis that changes his life forever because he found that he's about to die. And he starts meeting, and he refers back to the previous situations in therapy, let's say, that he had, and want to find some critical questions that I'm not going to reveal what were the critical questions. But just to tell you that for me and to me, in the book, Philip was the candidate to represent Schopenhauer, and Julius itself was the candidate to somehow represent Freud. There could be different ideas about this. I'm not going to say claim, but let's say claim. But at the end of the book, I had this feeling that you had the conversation between Freud and Schopenhauer, and the interesting part was that at the end of the book, you're going to love both. Anyway, if you are searching for a self-therapy source, I believe so, a self-therapy source that is easily understandable, I believe this book could be a perfect one. To me it was. And I want to assure you that clearly you don't need to know anything about Schopenhauer or Freud. Yalom takes you easily to the book, the writer of the Schopenhauer Cure. And again, staying spoiler safe, the story is not a thriller, but it stays tense in a soft way. And dialogue drives much of the action. And the real drama is how people speak and react. As the core idea of the book, first time that I read the book, it was, I believe, 7 or 8 years ago. As the core idea, there was a question in the book. that I still don't know how to answer it. It asks that, what would you prefer to have written on your thumb? I believe this question is very different from how do you like to be remembered. These are two different questions, and even today, till now, after 7 or 8 years, I haven't been able to answer it for myself. I've thought about it a lot, honestly, but it's a hard road to hoe to answer this question. And lastly, who should read this book? In my opinion, as I told you, anyone who is seeking for a self-therapy resource during the time that he's not depressed, because I believe if you are depressed or you're struggling with emotional problems, you need to go to the scientific and reliable sources. But for the time of peace, let's say, you can read the book as a self therapy book. And yes, thank you, and have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever is the time.